and the Miami Hurricanes head home to play for a championship.
Touchdown, Indiana!
It's what every little kid dreams of.
Hoosiers!
Doesn't get me better at this point. One more.
Yeah, yeah.
Our football analyst and ball knower, Sam Acho, is with us. One of us here on the show yesterday picked Oregon. Wasn't Acho. As you watched that dismantling that Indiana put on the Ducks last night, Sam, what did that remind you of?
It felt like Indiana was playing on that video game setting Heisman mode. You know how there's like easy, medium, hard, and then Heisman? They were stuck in Heisman mode. From the first play of the game, the opening kickoff, it was getting could do to stop Indiana in all three phases. They were stuck in Heisman mode.
Yo, we got the hit stick graphic going on this morning? Okay, dude. We loosened up the budget. Sacho, the Hoosiers now open as a 7.5-point favorite against Miami in Miami. For the Hurricanes to pull off another upset in this CFP, what needs to happen in your eyes?
Miami must win when it comes to one-on-one contested catches and Miami defensive backs versus India. Miami has done it before. We've seen pick sixes on the defensive side of the ball, but we also have seen dropped interceptions, missed opportunities by Miami defensively. They cannot miss any opportunities. They have to capitalize on any mistake that Fernando Mendoza might make.
Might be a little bit too early, but Miami, if that defense shows up compared to this Hoosiers offense that continually has showed up, who do you like more, Sacho?
I like Indiana's offense because it's not just this last game. It's been all season. They've won when it's mattered the most, whether it's a Penn State, end of the back of the end zone, a one-toe tap, or even in Oregon in their regular season when Mendoza threw a pick, he backed it up with a critical play. And so for me, it's the one-on-one contested catches for Indiana. I think that has the edge over Miami defensively.
Hey, man, he was right in this Peach Bowl prediction was Sam Acho, the national championship game, January 19th on ESPN. Sacho, thank you, sir. Indiana's roster, just 8 4- and 5-star players. 8 of them. They've already taken down Alabama, who has 57. They've beaten Oregon, who has 55. And up next, Miami, 45 4- and 5 stars. Campus. We're about 5 feet away from Trevor Maddich, our college football analyst here on SportsCenter. Trevor, when you watch Fernando Mendoza on tape, you think what?
Randy, I think he looks at college defenses with the same style that Tom Brady looked at NFL defenses. Most college quarterbacks will look at one guy on an RPO or 2 guys. Is it 1 or 2 deep safeties? And know where the soft spot is. And then, much like Brady, he's got the accuracy to get the ball not only to the right spot, but to get it there at the right time. It's one of the reasons that tight windows like this are no big deal for him, because of his ability to know where to throw it, but also to get it to the right spot at the right time. And so Fernando Mendoza, I think, is likely to be the first pick in the draft, because guess who has the first pick? The Las Vegas Raiders.
And who's making the decisions for the Las Vegas Raiders?
Co-owner Tom Brady. And so they have, I think, a lot in common in their approach to reading defense.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and Mendoza has what Brady didn't from his high school career, or rather, collegiate career. That'd be a Heisman Trophy. Let's look ahead to the national championship game. We have 9 days to wait now. What do the Hurricanes need to do specifically to slow down Mendoza and this Hoosiers offense?
Well, the Hurricanes defense will need to stop everything. I mean, we think of the Mendoza aerial circus, right? And that pass rush is good enough to be able to gum up those words. The problem is that Indiana's a run-first team. Miami will have to earn the right to rush Mendoza. In the 2 playoff games, Mendoza threw the ball 36 times. They ran it 90 times combined. 36 passes, 90 rushes in 2 playoff games. And so Miami's great pass rush, it's mildly interesting until they stop the run first.
Protecting the football, it's funny, you can help out your own defense by protecting the football on offense, something obviously Oregon had trouble with last night. So it's going to be Indiana, it's going to be Miami.
With his legs, and the Miami Hurricanes head home to play for a championship.
Touchdown, Indiana!
It's what every little kid dreams of.
Hoosiers!
Doesn't get me better at this point. One more.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you remember those big desktop calendars?
Yeah.
Like literal desktop calendars. Do you think anyone has one anymore? Like if you do, grab like the red marker, find January 19th, circle it, put a star next to it, exclamation mark or two. You need to.
I'm not sure we could have scripted a more intriguing matchup for this year's CFP title game. But before we get to that kickoff on the 19th at 7:30 on ESPN. Let's revisit the signature moments of Miami and Indiana's respective seasons.
Miami's moment, August the 31st at home against Notre Dame. Not a producer error that he gave me this one. Late second quarter, game tied at 7. Carson back CJ Daniels, that catch.
Ridiculous.
Like, that was Beck's first game for Miami, and the connection there was so good early, really just laying the groundwork for what was to come all season.
Beck to throw. Looking, throws toward the end zone. It is good for touchdown. Daniels caught it in traffic. What a catch by C.J. Daniels.
Beck had 205 yards, 2 scores. Daniels 5 catches, 45 yards, and that score. And of course, a big win over Notre Dame, 27-24, which was the beginning of their run to the title game.
Well, of course, Indiana's moment. Everyone remembers this, right? November 8th. At Penn State, final minute, they're down 4. Fernando Mendoza to Omar Cooper Jr. in the back of the end zone. Somehow, that's a touchdown. The catch was ridiculous. And then looking down to see the goal line and say, can I get my toe down before I fall out of bounds?
Yeah.
What an incredible play. The awareness, the strength, everything. And the review was long, but the call would stand. And deservedly so. Indiana gets the win. Now they get a shot at Miami.
Coach Cristobal does a fantastic job with the Hurricanes. They had a great win last night against Ole Miss. And like you mentioned, myself growing up in Miami, if I put a little Google map from my house to the University of Miami campus, it'd be under a mile. And so this game means a lot to myself, means a lot to the people in Florida who are in our team who are from Florida. But it's a national championship. It means a lot to everybody. Yeah. So we just got to make sure we play the best 60 minutes of football. I get it's a national championship, but eliminate all the outside distraction and noise, and let's just play the best Indiana brand of football we can for 60 minutos.
All right, so it is set, and yeah, we've got a line courtesy of DraftKings Sportsbook. Just an impressive performance in the Peach Bowl, so no surprise Indiana will open up at the favorite, but a 7.5-point favorite over the Hurricanes. Again, as you heard Fernando say, this game is in Miami. The betting favorite has won and covered in each of the last 6 national title games.
SportsCenter on the Road is presented by Geico. We promised he would be back, and there he is, Roddy Jones. The national championship is now set. You get Indiana and you get Miami. How do you see this one playing out on the 19th?
Well, look, I'm done picking against Indiana. I think they end up controlling and winning this game. They've just been an absolute buzzsaw in this playoff. But the thing that stands out to me is the difference in discipline between the two teams. There's only 3 teams in the country that have committed more penalties than the University of Miami. Indiana is one of the least penalized teams in the entire country. Both teams are good in the turnover margin, so I think that's kind of a wash. But overall, this Indiana team and their ability to not beat themselves had been what's prevalent all year long. They've also played in close games. They're comfortable in close games. And Fernando Mendoza has been the best in the country at performing in the big moments. He hasn't needed those in the last 2 games in the playoff, in the absolute demolition of Alabama, followed by the absolute demolition of Oregon that started from literally the first snap of the game when D'Angelo Pons returns that interception for a touchdown. So Indiana is going to be favored in this game. And I don't know at this point how you can pick against the Hoosiers.
Okay, did you pick against the Hoosiers going into this one?
Nicole, that's old stuff. We're moving on.
Why you got to bring up old stuff? We moving on.
Why you got to bring up? Well, look, somebody had to save the graphic, so I did it. But
someone had to save the graphic. That is so inside TV. Roddy, but let's look at Miami for a second, because you can make a lot of arguments why they shouldn't be where they are in the first place, right?
No.
But here they are.
Don't you dare do that.
They are here right now, and they will be underdogs in this game. But if they do somehow pull this out, how will they do it?
Well, they've got to ride their strengths, the offensive and defensive lines. That defensive line in particular for Miami has to keep Indiana off schedule by stopping the run and getting after Fernando Mendoza. Now, they're going to have a massive challenge in stopping the receivers of Indiana. That Miami secondary is pretty banged up. with the injury to Damari Brown. Ethan O'Connor didn't play a ton in that semifinal game. And when you look at the fact that Xavier Lucas is going to miss the first half, I mean, that is a really thin secondary group that's going to have to cover Elijah Surratt and Omar Cooper and Charlie Becker. So that defensive line is going to have to come up big. Miami's going to have to play their game, control the clock, and be disciplined. You can't let Indiana draw you into a game where you are beating yourself. They had a lot of penalties in that Ole Miss game. They had false starts. They had a turnover in that Ole Miss game. They can't have that against Indiana. Miami's going to have to play pretty close to perfect and let those NFL players on the defensive line control things.
Yeah, one thing we have not seen so far is Indiana beat itself, so the Hurricanes can't do that to themselves either. Roddy Jones, no one saves.
We will be there, the big man. There he is, America Stanford Steve alongside, and we've made the point repeatedly that this Indiana team is connected. They're well coached. They execute at an incredibly high level. On game day, you talk about things we might see. Was there anything that Indiana did tonight that in any way surprised you, Steve?
Made another team submit. It's what they do. Just how, I mean, you had Dusty on and Greg and Reese, and, you know, I felt a little different than others. I feel like people haven't really dug in and watched Indiana, though. I mean, I stayed in when we were in game day in Eugene, and I watched that, and I'm like, wow, this team's better. And people didn't want to say that. And I'm like, Mendoza is better. They're on the more same page. They're coached better. They have better talent. Their skill guys are better than they were last year. And they were real. And I just want to point one thing out that never gets mentioned because everybody goes to the Penn State game because of the comeback. Mm-hmm. They didn't have their left tackle. They didn't have their left guard. And they didn't have Surratt.
Other than that, yeah.
They won.
Understood. You pointed out on our pod in the summer, you said, I think they're going to be better this year. Why do you think that? Because of Mendoza?
I really liked Mendoza. I watched him at Cal. I knew guys that coached him there, and I just know how buttoned up he is. And then you become a part of something like this where everyone is on the same page. And I said today on game day, Lane Kiffin is the self-proclaimed portal king. Signetti's the portal king. Look, we talked about it. Look at what he's already done for next year. And that was the big question as this train rolled along this year. All right, well, he's got all the JMU guys, and he's got Mendoza. What's he going to do next year? He's pretty set up for it.
I saw Mark Cuban, and he's smiling. And look, he's got deep pockets, and he said they're happier this year. Like they've got a bigger stack of cash, and you see that with what they're bringing in. That's next year. Let's live right now. There's one more college football game left. It's Indiana and Miami. Your first thought on that's what?
Bring 2 chin straps.
Yeah, buckle up, as you often say.
Yeah, people like to say trade and paint with helmets and all that, but both teams are going to bring it. I thought Dusty made a great point. Like, Mario's going to roll his sleeves up and get his guys ready. The problem is simple. It's a trust factor. You watch Indiana, you watch Miami, we all do. You trust Indiana way more. And as good as Miami was against Ohio State, 0 penalties, you go back to last night where they just kept giving opportunities.
10.
Play call selection was weird. But to see this crowd here tonight, I've been here 3 times in like 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. The SEC championship game is special here because it's 50-50.
Sure.
And it's loud as hell. We were here for a Falcons game. That was like church.
All due respect.
I was at the Rose Bowl with Alabama in Indiana. I thought it was like 65-35, maybe even 70-30. But you're outside. It was raining in the morning. Tonight you felt it. And this is where a dome enhances it. And I'm walking through the tunnel on that first play of the game. And I'm like, oh, my God. And Greg made this pressure. Oregon tied the game up. He doesn't miss a beat. 4 for 4. Every single throw is on point. They convert 3 third downs, and they answer. And then they roll from there.
This is who they've been pretty much all year. Like, you go back and that Illinois game, like in retrospect, I look back, that's when they told you the first time, you know what, they might beat the crap out of everyone.
And they make you make mistakes.
Yeah, and they don't.
They don't.
I
mean, think about how simple that is and how every coach would love to have that. That's day one stuff. Hey, let's not beat ourselves.
Best third down defense, best third down offense, best turnover margin, and one of the fewest penalized teams.
And they improved tonight on my favorite stat of them. On 3rd and 7 this year, they were 42%. They went 2 of 3 on it tonight, right? The 42%.
Yeah.
The country
just math.
Averages 24%.
Speaking of just math, what are your picks in 2020?
To Oregon, it's like a runaway freight train. How is it that they can do what they do?
It has to be their efficiency, Nicole. I think that's the most impressive thing about that team. They can have it any way possible. You look at where they are in the stats at the Big Ten. I mean, they're first in the Big Ten in running the ball, stopping the run, and in so many other categories, first in the country in turnover margin. They're one of the least penalized teams in the entire country. And so when you look at this Indiana team, it's their efficiency from top to bottom, their relentless effort from top to bottom. They just do everything at an incredibly high level. They don't beat themselves. There's so many coachisms that you can throw out about this team. When you talk about winning football games, that is what they ultimately do by doing everything right. And so they are incredibly talented. The players are great, but I think their mentality and their ruthless efficiency is the biggest thing.
Well, you talk about efficiency, then you got to talk about Fernando Mendoza, 17 of 20, 5 touchdowns. I mean, he won the Heisman, and it feels like he's been better in those games since the Heisman than before he won it. As regards to this particular performance in this game, though, Roddy, what impressed you the most about his overall night?
I mean, it has to be his accuracy, right? You look at the overall stats, and they are eye-popping. But go and look at the ball placement on some of these throws. I mean, the throw to Elijah Surratt down the sideline, he's consistently giving his receivers opportunities to go up and make catches. The Charlie Becker throw down the other sideline in the end zone, consistently, he is putting it where his receivers are going to get it or it's going to be incomplete. I mean, there's a throw to Charlie Becker where it's like a 10 to 15-yard outcut. Charlie Becker's not even out of his break, and Fernando Mendoza puts it right on the sideline, right on the face mask of his receiver. He's got incredible accuracy, incredible processing power with his ability to diagnose defenses. His athleticism stands out, his size stands out, and what doesn't stand out about this guy?
And it's amazing when he went back and he looked at the first game from week 7 when they played, he was like, man, our team is so much better and I am a better quarterback, and we are seeing all of that now. The coaching, though, I mean, we have to talk about the man in charge of it all, and Curt Cignetti. We did get like the briefest moment
bit of smile talking about that beer.
From him tonight, and like, I'm sure he's happy with it. But when you look at this team and where the program was just a short few years ago to where they are now, how has he been able to do it and bring success so quickly?
I wish I knew, because I would bottle it up, write a book about it, and sell it, and it'd be a New York Times bestseller. People are going to be studying this for years from a leadership standpoint. These guys that not only are incredibly talented on the football field, but have the right mentality to fit this Indiana team. He is a ruthless competitor, and he instills that in his team. The fact that you guys noted one smile just shows how dissatisfied or never pleased he is with the success that they're having. He's able to stave off complacency consistently with his team and really have them all believing that the most important snap is the next snap. They play with incredible effort, and they never let up. I mean, Fernando Mendoza, I don't think he left the game today. They're still scoring touchdowns when they're up, big in this game. They keep their foot on the pedal, and that's a mentality that starts with the head coach.
But they were up like 49-15, and he was losing his mind on the sidelines.
Yes,
like, that's the intensity, the ruthlessness that we saw.
26 wins in 2 seasons so far, and he's got one more game to play for the national title. Speaking of that, when Roddy Jones comes back here on SportsCenter, we're going to look ahead to that matchup against Miami.